Hey guys, AnatoLiy's here. Just wanted to give you guys a quick little update about what's happening in the Smite esports side of things. So, if you guys aren't in the loop, November 5th through the 10th is going to be your HRX placements. 14 teams from around the world competing to get their spot, and there's only 4 spots remaining, into HRX. Let's go ahead and take a look at the brackets, shall we? So this video, I'm basically doing a bit of a prediction video of who is going to make it towards HRX and who's going to win it all. I'll make more videos later down the road in the next couple of days about breaking down each individual team. Not all 14 teams, but just the 8 teams that I think is going to be at HRX. Well, obviously we know the 4 that are going to be there, but we got to break down the other 4 that won't be there or are going to qualify to be there. So, because Obey Alliance and Space Station Gaming did relatively well in the online portion, not good enough to qualify to HRX, but 3rd place is still solid enough to get their first round bye. Skipping that first round is a big deal because this is a double elimination best of 3 bracket. Every team is going to have 2 opportunities to fight their way towards the end and get towards HRX. So in round number 1, it's going to be Luminosity against the Latin American representative team, which is either Loto Gaming from the, I want to say North region. Yes, the Northern region versus Nocturnes, the South region. So, predicting that's going to be Nocturnes Gaming. They've been statistically... Here, let me actually make this smaller production value so you guys can kind of see me here. Still talking to you. But anyway, Nocturnes Gaming has been statistically winning a lot against the Latin American North representative. This is the first time, I think, all of Season 5 where it's not going to be Why So Serial. So I think Nocturnes has the star power to be able to still at least beat the the Latin American North representative. When you got the likes of Smatero jungling for you, I think that you're in a pretty comfortable position, whether it's Loto Gaming or Why So Serial. After Luminosity versus Nocturnes, it's going to be Trifecta up against Insignum. And I think that that specific matchup should have Trifecta's name all across the board. Insignum has played very well, I'd say, in the European Smite Minor League, but this is just a different level. I don't think either North America or European Minor League teams have a shot against whether it's Trifecta or I believe the other one is going to be... Where's Armada? Up against Rival. Yeah, Armada versus Rival. That's going to be rough. So I think Trifecta should be able to advance through Insignum. Insignum might be able to squeeze in a game, but at the end of the day, Trifecta is a very aggressive team with aggressive players. Their style is just very cohesive. When they're on a roll, they don't really stop. It could be their biggest strength and their biggest weakness. Against teams that know how to stop it, should be able to advance over Trifecta, but I don't think Insignum has been truly challenged the way that Trifecta is about to challenge them. Let me actually backpedal a little bit and talk about Luminosity up against Nocturnes Gaming as well, because I didn't actually touch upon that. I think that despite how poorly Luminosity has played in the North American Pro League, they should still be able to win this matchup. Now, granted, Nocturnes Gaming, if there's any international team to find a victory, it should be Nocturnes. Between beating Team Allegiance in Season 3 Worlds, that best-of-1 set, between also, I believe, taking a game from E United in the springtime and giving them a run for their money, I still think that Nocturnes is just missing a little bit of that extra oomph to bring them over that hump. They get leads. It's not like that they don't contend against their oppositions. It's just that they don't know how to maintain it for the long stretch. And that's where their weakness really comes down to, whether it's intimidation by the star power that's on the opposite end of the field them, or otherwise, they need to overcome whatever is that's stopping them from finding these victories. Because they have the talent. They've been dominating their respective region. They just can't seem to beat North America or Europe. Could be the time to do it, but I'm predicting Luminosity to advance to round 2 where they'll face off Obey. Trifecta and Insignum, I broke that down, should be going to Trifecta. Mouse Sports versus Get On My Level. Clean, cut, and clear. I'm actually predicting Mouse Sports to not only beat Get On My Level, but make it into HRX. I'll break that down a little bit later with another video down the road. Get On My Level is the Southeast Asian representative team. Very wild, very unpredictable, very loose cannon team. Can't really break them down too much into under a microscope. We'll see what they can bring to the table, but I'm expecting Mouse Sports to make a lot of adjustments with patch 5.19. I think that Mouse Sports is very comfortable with some of their roster changes. I think Dardis has played very well in the Hunter role, and should be interesting. Now, SK Gaming up against No Ping. No Ping is the Brazilian representative team. If you guys are unfamiliar with Brazil region, it's always been Black Dragons making it to the Masters and the International. But for the first time, I believe, since Season 1 Worlds, we're going to see Black Dragons not make it. So that's a big deal, I think, in the Brazilian region as a whole. Can No Ping find a victory here up against SK? I do think so, actually. I think that SK Gaming is, of all the collective SPL teams, between Luminosity and SK Gaming, I think SK Gaming is on the bottom end of that totem pole. And No Ping doesn't have that much footage on them that could be a lot of homework being done by SK Gaming. So there's a chance that No Ping should find the upset. This is like the upset of the tournament, probably, that No Ping is going to beat an SPL caliber team. I'm calling it now. No Ping should be able to win that one. Rival against Armada. It's Rival. They haven't performed up to standards online, but this is LAN we're talking about. They've always stepped up in all of Season 4. From their transition to Season 3, if you look back at where they used to be known as Cyclone GG, this has been like a complete 180 team. They haven't stopped in Season 5 LAN performance. They won Spring in Season 5. They came second place in the summer. Whatever cobwebs they shook off online in the fall, I think is going to really show how fluid they can flow down this river towards HRX. I'm predicting Rival to not only win this, but also make it towards HRX. Next matchup is CLG against Atletico. Atletico is the Australian team representative. Historically, Australia has not really been able to do much against international teams. CLG should win that one. So we'll go back now to round number 2. Obey Alliance should be up against Luminosity there. I'm predicting that Obey should dominate that one. I think that they almost even made it to the top 2. They had a slight hiccups here and there. They can beat the best of them on their best day, but then they can also lose to the worst of them. I believe that they are the only team that lost to SK Gaming in all of Season 5. SK Gaming only won a single set, and I believe that was against Obey Alliance in the springtime. So there's that. Trifecta will be up against Mouse Sports. I think Mouse Sports is such a wild card factor, but still solid, if that makes any sense, because of their unconventional strats. Now, that was also back when Dardis played support, granted, but I still think that they looked so comfortable now in their role swap that between their double hunter strategies that they run from time to time, between how aggressive they invade, Trifecta isn't going to have the opportunity to even get a lead over Mouse Sports. Excuse me, as I'm kind of predicting. So yeah, Mouse Sports should win over Trifecta, make it to round 3, where they'll face off against Obey Alliance. Space Station Gaming up against No Ping. Space Station has also kind of underperformed, I would say. Now, it's a combination of Space Station underperforming and Splice stepping it up to take that top 2 North American spot from them. So I think Space Station has a lot to prove at this LAN to be able to make it. If they don't make this LAN, I think that'll be the first time that Barracuda and Jeff has not been at a Worlds. There's a slight possibility that could happen, that they won't even make it towards HRX. There's only 4 spots remaining, and the competition is really stiff. But I think they will beat No Ping or SK Gaming, doesn't matter which, but I'm predicting it to be No Ping. Space Station advanced to round 3. Rival beating Armada, CLG beating Atletico. Now, Rival should be able to beat CLG, but I think that CLG on their greatest day, we always talk about their star power, the names, you know, you got Jigs, Fine OK, Snoopy, Whirlwind, and now they're also going to have Mask as opposed to Homie FA. A little bit surprising that they made that roster swap, but if that helps their chemistry, so be it. I think on their best day, CLG can surprise a lot of teams, including Team Rival. I think that Rival should still be able to beat CLG and advance to round 3, but I think that CLG has an opportunity in the lower half of the bracket. So, Obey beating out Trifecta in round 3, facing off against Mouse Sports. Now, historically, in at least the fall split, Obey has won all of their sets up against Mouse Sports, but there might be a little factor that we have to consider in this matchup. I'm not going to say what this factor necessarily is. I'm not sure if it's public knowledge or not. But behind the scenes, for this unknown X reason that will be public relatively soon, probably a couple of days after this video, I'm going to give this to Mouse Sports. I think that Mouse Sports is going to be able to find their victory over Obey Alliance, but I'm not counting Obey out in the double elimination bracket. I think that they have an opportunity up against some of the other teams. So I think Mouse Sports is going to find their victory in round 3 and make it to the semifinals over there. Then where we're going to have Space Station advancing from round 2 up against a Rival. Now, Space Station has struggled up against Rival and Team Dignitas Energy in the spring and the summertime season 5. I think that this is going to continue. I don't think that Space Station has been able to find that hump for whatever reason. Like, season 1, it was all NA, just dominating everything. Season 2 and 3, it was all EU. And majority of season 4, it was also a lot of European teams dominating up until EU United stepped up in the finals against Rival. And now season 5, yet again, Europe just seems to be constantly a little bit of the one-upper from North America, and I'm predicting that Rival should be able to make it over, where they're going to meet off up against Mouse Sports. Now, number 1, number 2, Mouse Sports versus Rival, you know, that's to be determined. I think Rival should be able to get this victory if they continue the momentum that they have been throughout the lower part of the bracket. Now, in the other 2 spots, outside of Rival, outside of Mouse Sports making it, my predictions for the last 2 spots. Now, this is without me knowing which team goes in the lower half of the bracket. I don't have that information. But I believe that it's going to be Space Station Gaming and CLG making it through the lower bracket. That's just my predictions. That's what I'm going to go with. You can call me out on it. I'll go break down some of these teams a little bit later down the road. I hope you guys will subscribe to the channel, follow my Twitter, and all that information. I'll go ahead and like embed it somewhere around here to make sure that you guys, you know, can do that and check up on my update videos. But yeah, that's my prediction. It's going to be Rival, Mouse Sports, Space Station Gaming, CLG making it through the placements where they will make it towards HRX bracket, where there's going to be Dignitas waiting for that number 4 spot, which is probably going to be CLG. Splice waiting for that number 1 spot, which I believe is going to be Rival. EU United waiting for that number 3 spot, which is Space Station Gaming through the lower bracket. And then NRG waiting for number 2, which is going to be Mouse. I'm going to make a separate video for the HRX predictions of what I expected, but this has just been a short little no nonsense, no intro, give it to you straight of my predictions of through HRX placements. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and embed some stuff around here, and I hope to see you guys down the road. Make sure to follow us on the twitter.com/SmitePro, where we always update you when we go live. November 5th through the 10th, HRX placements. See you then.